Hi and welcome to How to Use CAD. Still on house plans. Today we're going to review a 3,775 square foot 3-bed timber framed ranch house. This is an absolute diversion to what we normally do. But it's a lovely modern design with lots of features. So I think let's just get straight to it. This particular house plan, it caught my attention when I was looking through, and I think it was the open porch that got me, and I certainly like the I think it's a breezeway they call it in America. So yeah, I think it was lovely. Personally, I find it a little bit weird because I would look at that as something you drive into. If it was raining, if you wanted to offload, and that's what I would see as a breezeway, somewhere you could actually leave a car and get out, or go into your office, or go back into the house. But apparently not in this case. But let's have a look at the photos and see where we go with it. So this is looking from a bit further back. You can see you got a big garage on the right. It's an absolute decent size. Now this is pretty plain. But again, it looks a little utility, but the open porch is a huge feature here. And some of these buildings, they're quite understated, because when you go inside, they offer up real value in terms of family accommodation and living space. Obviously this particular one isn't up long, and they've just started the landscape, so it'll take a few years before this really starts to feel homely and so on. Yeah, we can do a click. So here we are, taken from a different perspective over to the right. I don't know what this would be. This is probably more garages or another outbuilding or so on. And you got some substantial trees that they left into the landscape here, which is rather nice because it gives everything a great start. I'd love to see this in about 5 years from now. See what it looks like, because all of these plants will have taken life and changed the character completely. Also the materials and the metaling and everything will have aged a little bit, and Mother Nature will have given everything a kind of a different look, slightly different look, which in my mind always looks better rather than a brand new pristine home. It's a matter of taste, I suppose. So inside, main living area, wow. Again, it's quite lovely. Now, the style and the furniture and so on may not be in my taste. Well, it certainly isn't, I'm afraid, and it may not be yours if you're looking. But at the end of the day, you can start to visualize the interior of the property. And of course, if you don't like the furnishings and so on and so forth, and how it's finished off, then it can be changed dramatically. Like, I mean, you've got the ceiling here. It's covered over in salvaged timbers and sanded over, lots of recessed lighting. But I love the fact that it's vaulted, because it gives loads of space and light to everything. Again, so the fact that it's vaulted is a huge yes from me. And whether it's painted or whether it's exposed timber or what, that's a matter of taste. Again, same old thing, you can't lose with the kitchen island and the drop down pendants. That's great. Looking at the doors here, they're pretty tall. The whole building is pretty tall, which is great. Because in the UK we have this new trend over the last 5 years or so of doing floor to ceiling windows, but it's because the rooms aren't as tall as they could be, and here, because we've got the vaulted ceiling and we've got the heights, we really don't need to go the whole way up. But it does look great. The sliding doors are looking absolutely fine, as are the double sash. Not entirely sure about the color scheme, but again, it's a matter of taste. Island, as I said, looks great. You got a bit of what have we got there? Marble, quartz, granite. I'm not quite sure, but the styling is quite nice. Meaning the styling, as in the handle, the architectural finishings, they're quite nice. As are the lights, etc. But color-wise, we're not quite sure. Now, on the floor, I can see we have polished concrete, which is can look absolutely fantastic. I'm not quite sure in this case, but again, the idea of the polished concrete for the whole building, doing it throughout. Now that's a fantastic idea. You just have to pick your finishes quite carefully. Over here, where you've got a living area, love the fireplace, love the love the open space and the dual doors, one on either side. But what we're missing here is a telly. So reality kicks in here. Fireplace is great, but where's the telly? So without a TV, I would like a huge TV here, and maybe up a little bit if we could get a small fireplace in underneath. But again, I'd want the TV. I'm not going to sit here for long without a telly, unless it's a big, huge recreational area, family area for people, rather than anything else. And maybe there's a TV room elsewhere. But so let's look through the photos I've got. Right, so looking at it now in reverse, coming back down. Kitchen again, so you're getting a more brighter picture here. Again, let's look at the styling of the units. The chrome, brushed stainless steel, and like I say, I'm a fan of the kitchen. I like the height. I love the twin fridge freezer. Love the architectural fittings. So to me, that's a win. It's an absolute win. Yeah, it looks great. But given the size of the house, the kitchen could be, in my view, a little bit small, because this doesn't look big enough for a large house. I mean, I think it's a 3-bed, but given the floor space, which is about 3,700, if you take a London home for a family with 3 beds, the average square footage is about 1,200 square foot. Now this is 3,700 and odd. So it's like 3 times more. And now in London we'd have a kitchen like this size. So I would just expect a larger kitchen in a larger home. But there you go. Right, so again, learning curve, you see. And the only way you can learn is by looking at other designers and how they lay stuff out. But if this was a really large family home, then you have to ask yourself, is that kitchen big enough? Look at the little sink, etc. My view, it's not. It fails on that. Right, so again, looking from the back of the lounge, looking at a very simple wooden table, 2-seater settee. So, I mean, there's chairs for 4 people here. So, I mean, in my view, again, not enough chairs. The overall view is great. I can see we've got the roof lights there, which are leading in some light. Now I saw them on the outside, so now I'm seeing them on the inside, which look great. So the kitchen itself looks great. The table and dining looks absolutely fine. This looks, but for me it's slightly old-fashioned. That's the look I'm getting. And maybe that's part of the ranch house style culture, but it's looking slightly old-fashioned. And maybe for older people rather than a young family. But again, you draw your own conclusions. These are just my comments. This bit, I looked on the plans, and where you have a corridor, effectively, and one side is reclaimed timber with the wine racks, and it's glazed off, and it's obviously cooled, kept a certain temperature. Otherwise, you're wasting all your time and money, and you got a little loo at the end. So when I looked at the plans, I couldn't actually find that anywhere. So that picture, I don't think it relates to this particular plan. Well, it doesn't relate to that one, but this one does. This is the main bedroom, and again, absolutely gorgeous. Love the doors, love the sliding doors. I'm not quite sure if that's a small fan or whatever, but heating in these houses, I guess it's hot air. Lights are, again, my view, a little old-fashioned. We tend to go for smaller lights. More modern lights tend to be smaller and more of them. So polished concrete is still there. Bed and the furniture is quite fine, but again, fitted covers rather than a a finished piece of upholstered chair. So fitted covers, to me, it's not the same thing. Just loose fitted covers, which it cheapens it a little bit for me. So whilst it looks quite nice, it's still not not an expensive looking finish. Back in here, lounge. Again, this picture, I'm not quite sure it relates to this particular drawing, because we don't have that. We don't have that on the plan, where we have 2 doors and these kind of furnishings. So what they do is they do the plan, which is great, and we'll look through the plan in a moment, and then they put some lovely pictures, but not all of the pictures are relating to this plan. So you do have to be a little bit careful when you're looking through and reviewing the plans. So sash window style throughout, which is that's surprising. I'm really surprised that we got that, but I absolutely adore the sash windows. As I say, I'm not quite sure about the colouring. Now the doors look super tall. Could be the lens of the camera that's making that happen, but they do look quite tall, and they look like standard width, so they're just above average in height. Maybe we're in Texas and everyone's 7 foot tall, but the doors simply are taller than what I would expect. We're also using 4 hinges, whereas in the UK 3 hinges would be as much as you would see on standard doors. So I guess 4 hinges for taller doors, that would be about right. Sockets, well, I mean, who the hell would want a socket here in this position? So when you look at that, I'm thinking, yeah, to come back design wise, I can understand the socket over here, but not there. You're going to put a light here and drag a cable over to there? No, I don't think so. And again, this one, I would have kept maybe 1 socket here and 1 socket there, and then conceal them. So we put sockets where we're likely to use them rather than just random, or maybe what was convenient for the electrician. So again, not entirely pleased with what I'm seeing. Right, again, the lights old-fashioned, big and few, whereas I would have had smaller light fittings, about 4-inch light fittings rather than these, which are about 8-inch. And I would have had more of them, and they'd be banked so that you could switch certain ones on at certain times. The paintings, of course, furnishings, not too bad at all. That's quite nice, but again, don't like the fitted coverings for the settees. Again, it stinks of old people and cheap. That's the reality, I'm afraid. Okay, veranda is great. Look, the timber looks like substantial, good. Rattan furniture, and this is dressed out quite well. I'm not seeing the right type of booze there for me, but it still looks good. They've got a great pool, and they didn't feature that in the photographs, which I think is an absolute, well, you dropped the clanger, as we say in the UK, because the pool is a very, very attractive element within any kind of modern property or any kind of decent home. So this is quite nice, that's okay. But I'm looking at it, I'm going to look for the pool in the other photos now, because I'm not quite sure, again, you see, if this photo is coming from another plan rather than this particular plan. But let's see how it works out. Here we are, we've got it from another end, taken from another perspective. So this would be the back, that would be the bedroom here, and the hallway going down, bathrooms on the other side, and then this would be the lounge. So you've got another hallway here. So basically it's hallway all down along here. So let's see, are we getting that? Yeah, we're getting hallway all the way along, so that's in keeping. So in other words, the plan could be reasonably accurate. So hallway all the way down. So what's beyond here? What's this one? Let's have a little look. That would be here, bedroom. So more hallway. A drop zone and a powder room. Not sure what that is, but right. So we've had a good look at the photos. I mean, this looks great. There's no doubt about it. The you know, the decking looks great, and again, it looks comfortable for sure. That pool looks attractive. I guess this is a pool house. so you store stuff in there in the winter time, etc. And you know, the trees, they're awesome. So that's going to be absolutely gorgeous within a few years. Right, so let's get back and have a look at the plan. So I think to look at the plan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this screen for a minute, and because if I use the CAD screen, then I'll be able to bring up the plan. So as you can see now, I've brought photos into my CAD program. Today we're using TurboCAD Deluxe 2022. And I brought most of the photos in, so again we can explode elements if we want to. This is quite nice, by the way, so we have a little look at the photos and then nip back to the plan. You know, instead of having one big strip, just have several strips with gaps in between. That can be then gravel, it can be grass, it can be a range of things. Likewise, having a walkway through the planted area is quite nice. So on the walls, it looks like metal, aluminium or zinc. So yeah, theoretically, that's what it looks like. Of course, it could be timber and just painted up to look like. And but probably my favorite feature here is the open porch. And again, there's no, it's not genius. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, and it's got a good look for me. What's interesting is they've got a sliding door at the front of the property. Sliding door. Now that definitely is that's something I've never ever considered. Maybe in a hotel or in a commercial property, but on a residential property, I've never considered putting a sliding door in the front of the house. But there you go. That's what they've done. So we'll check the plan to see if that's accurate. You can see you got your lights. You know, lots of light space coming in. That was coming in, remember, on the back of the lounge. This is coming in here on the breezeway. So look again. So we've seen that one. We've gone through. Again, yeah. Right, looking at now. So I think back to the plan. Right, so if we started, this was the covered porch. Now the plan is different because the photo was showing a sliding door, whereas this is actually showing a standard door. So we picked up on that. Breezeway. So we've got here. What have we got? Is that a couple of doors? What's that meant to be? Doubles. Oh, it's the fireplace. It's the fireplace, and you got the door going out on either end. Heck, why would I need two doors to go out to the breezeway? What, just make it all symmetric? Not entirely sure about that. I'll have to think about that, because I mean, architecture is architecture, and it's always nice to do good stuff. But putting a door and frame in for no reason, I'm not sure. I would agree with that. There'd have to be a reasonable reason for doing it. So this one's opening in. So let's have a look. What does it say? Can I read it? Brought about. Well, no, this is the light above. Remember, we've seen that there are skylights above. So yeah, so skylight above. I guess that's what it's reading. Covered breezeway, and 16 foot wide, so you easily get a car in there, but you can't because they've got plants and stuff at the front, so you can't drive in. You can't drive in the back because of decking, if I remember correctly. So let's have a little look at the back. This one. So the breezeway, well, the breezeway is, let me go back again. Yeah, so we're looking at the bedroom wing, so that's not quite right. So we don't actually have a picture of where the breezeway is from the back, so we can't see if possible, but you're not going to be bringing cars in the back, that's for sure. You can see there's decking all the way around here. So yeah, so the breezeway, you can't drive in from the front, so I think that's a missed opportunity. So what we do in, for example, in Ireland, where I come from, what we do, we have a breezeway, but what we would have here is all down the walls, we would have logs. And those logs would be all dried out and ready for use here in the fireplace. So that's and so having the breezeway is a fantastic idea. I love the idea of having a covered area, but also we'd be using this to come in, and the breezeway wouldn't necessarily be here. It'd be probably at the back of the kitchen towards the utility area, where we'd have a, you know, what we consider a boot room. So we'd, in other words, be able to get a car. I know you got the garage down there, but it's not quite the same. You know, you get deliveries here. People drop off timber every winter, logs for the fire, you know, and you want to be able to drive in. You don't want them dropped out here and then have to carry them in the whole way and put them there. You want a small truck, pickup, small van to be able to back in there and offload on a pallet, a concrete floor, and then you can stack them. So you want to, you know, I'm talking about being pragmatic here. So if you're going to have a breezeway, then let's make good use of it. Right, I like this bit. This is like the office wing. So what we got here is we got an office, flexible suite, flexible house. So theoretically this could be a granny flat, could be for the au pair, or it could be for guests. And then again, it could be a decent set of offices if you're running a company or a business. You got a bit of storage, which is great for clothing and so on, and you've got a shower area and a loo. Brilliant. And door at the back. Yeah, let's see, where are we? Door at the back. No, I'm not convinced here. A door from the bathroom going to the garden. No, come on, seriously. So that's wrong in simple terms. Sliding doors here, I wouldn't have done it on the surface, not because that never really works. So if you're going to have sliding doors, have them in the recessing into the stud walls, into the timber walls. If you're going to do it right. So here, double doors again. Not convinced the double doors. It's going to be an office area. It depends really what you're going to use this space for. But I would have had perhaps a more discreet single door going in, so that it can be used for family accommodation or for someone to live there. Unless, of course, the doors are solid, because I'm visualizing glazed doors here for some reason or another. So we'll see if the photographs pick up on it. But in theory, the idea is great. You have your own property, which is this bit, and then you have a breezeway, which is like a separation. But use the breezeway correctly, and then use the this wing, as you could call it, also correctly. But that's a no-no. A bloody door from the bathroom. Come on, you got to be kidding me. Now here, what have we got here? This is meant to emphasize what? Bifold doors. Well, the idea is brilliant. Yeah, the idea is good. So again, I think we're emphasizing an old-fashioned island here. It's almost like, you know, the double level, where you have this one is the normal level where you work on, and then this is a tall one for stools. That's definitely out of fashion, so nobody's doing that anymore. Now we've got a nice wide one, and it's all the same level, which is worktop, regular kitchen worktop level. And incidentally, if you're going to have double doors anywhere, this is where you'd have them, right in the center here. So at the moment we got a single door, which is looking kind of rubbish, because also what we do with the single door is we want to make a focus on the entrance. We have and we're using a single door. We'd have a single door and fixed glass panels on the side. So we get rid of those windows here for the porch, and then do some nice fixed and glazed panels, so that you have a really imposing entrance. And then you can have an extra supersized door, either glass, solid, or a combination. That's what we would do. So I'm not. This does nothing. This does nothing for me. This area, the bifolds and the infinite view from here. So if you're a guest and you're coming in here and you're seeing through the house out to the garden, and the pool is out there and so on, fantastic. Incidentally, I mean, I'd be putting the pool into the plan here. So if I was, these are plans that are commercially sold, so if I was selling the plan, I'd be having the cars in the drive, and I'd be having the garage somewhere. I'd have a couple of cars in the garage and have the pool. I'd landscape the plan, if you follow me. This is a very basic plan. So yeah, I mean, and don't forget they're looking for about, I think it's about $1,500 or $2,000 for this particular plan. And I think by the time you do all the add-ons, you're probably going to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on building plans as well. You know, where you get plans for your concrete base, for your concrete slab, and then you get all your building regs. You get your plans for the walls and for the roofs and for the plumbing and the heating and so on. Well, if you're going to spend $5,000 for that, then you want a lot better design. So it may be that this plan is 30 years old and you're just knocking them out, but it looks reasonably modern from the photograph if you consider it, but it's just out of date. It's out of date before. Imagine you build a house that's out of date before as you build it. That's just stupid, really. Anyway, here we go. So there was, in the plan, there was a big fridge freezer here, and on this one it's showing refrigerator here. So in the photo it showed a big double fridge freezer here. So you know, the things are not in sync, as you could say. What have we got? At the back of the kitchen you have coats, and again you've got doors opening out. What have we got here? Some sort of bench, wine, and pantry and laundry. So okay, so in putting it into English, what we've got is you walk a little walk through. You have storage, coats and stuff, and pantry with food and stuff, food and wine, and then utility, which is washing and laundry and so on. Well, again, yeah, it's itty bitty. I'm not sure I'd have the doors between the coats and stuff. Would I really want to be opening doors every time I wanted to hang up a coat or a guest coat or anything like that? Probably not. So that'd be open plan, no doors. Would I give this kind of space? No, I don't think so. So I think it might be a bit of a reversal here. And maybe I'd have the coats here, and then this would be pantry, and this would be utility, or this would be the wines. We'll see, but I'd certainly work it out better than this. And this idea of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors, I mean, that's just a little bit crazy in this small area. So you don't need all these doors. That's my point. It's a utility, food storage, laundry. So you could have a couple of sliding doors or one sliding door here at the front, but no other door in here, because it's a utility area. Don't you get it? So you don't need all these doors. So you can store. And the other thing is you could recess this and have the coat sitting in there. So in fact, I'd love for someone to say, Tom, can you have a look at these plans and can you turn them into a modern home? What would you do, and so on and so forth. And I'd love to rehack a set of plans like this, because they're crying out for modernization and updating by, say, someone who knows a bit. So here we went back into the garage, door to the back. Where are we going with that? Again, you see, we look at security also as, and that's an issue. Where you have a building like that and a doorway, so on. I don't know where the doorway is going and what would it be used for. So it's possible that you might want a doorway. But again, if there's no good reason for it, don't have it. Big double doors, or one big 18-foot, 20-foot door at the front. Yeah, that's fine. Again, I'd like to stick a few cars in, or a couple of CAD blocks of cars to show the doors in there. So what we got? A drop zone. Well, what the hell is a drop zone? Beats me. I don't know. Do we need a drop zone? Powder room? Yeah, powder room. So we've got the loo, which is great. So powder room or loo, bathroom, cloakroom, call it what you want. That's fine, and that's okay. Drop zone could have been coats and hats, but you're getting away. I mean, it's a long way to go. Someone comes into your home, they're there, you meet, you talk, and then you take the coats and you go down here, and you go down there, and then you go down here. Well, we'd have to look at that. Maybe do a rethink. So let's take a look at the bedroom quarters, see if we did, how we did here. So they've created this open area, which this was an interesting idea, because you're going to have this. They call it it's a bathroom, but it's a Jack and Jill, isn't it? A Jack and Jill, meaning you get one centralized bathroom and a bedroom on either side. The sliding doors, completely agree with. That's lovely. And you got a privacy wall here. I'm not sure if we need that. Because if I was here and I came into the bathroom, first thing you do is you lock this one. You use your bathroom, and yeah, mind you, if you lock it, you have to make sure you unlock it. Otherwise, someone's in this bed and go, "Oh, Jane, you forgot to do it," and then coming back in this way and then opening it and going back. So you can see the amount of arguments you're going to be having because people forgetting to undo the doors, doing the locks. And I think that's the problem with the Jack and Jill or shared bathrooms, is that if you lock those doors, or if you have a lock on them, then but I mean, you can't have a privacy wall for the loo from someone coming in here and then not from there. So maybe you'd need to reconsider the privacy bit on the loo. Or which is more important, to be shielded from using the loo or for the bathroom? I'm not quite sure. So I would have used this space differently. I would have a walk-in shower. I'd have a bath, the tub, and I'm not sure about the privacy screen, but I'll have to consider that. But I like this area, the open area here. The bathroom doesn't have to be huge. So I like this open area here, and then entering into the bedrooms here rather than directly from the corridor. So let me think about it. So if I was to close that, I'd enter in. Well, actually, yeah, having seen it, I like the recess here, but I still wouldn't put the door here. I'd have the door here, opening against this wall, and then this would be a very ornamental area. You could have a lovely piece of furniture here, big huge mirror and flowers and display, and then match it up here by having sliding doors to the garden, etc., which I think they have, yeah, but I wouldn't put the doors on the sides. I'd put the doors on the main entrance, yeah. Coming in, so where have we got the bed? The bed is here. Well, the room is 18 by 10 that way, so yeah, you'd have your bed here, little coffee table and so on. And again, this rubbish with all these doors, that's all out of date now. So what we'd have here is sliding doors, which are very discreet rather than doors that open out. So sliding doors, and again, as I say, much easier to operate and very neat and very modern. That would work out fine for me. That's what I'd be doing. So let's have a look on the other end. They've just done a mirror image. So again, this is old hack. So these are old plans. Coming into the last bedroom, master bedroom, what have we got? We've got a vanity, separate loo, and then a master bath. So you got a shower and a bathtub, his and her sink. Again, I'm not quite sure if we'd be arranging it like so. Master bedroom, bed is here, walk-in closet around the back. Yeah, ooh, interesting. Would I have another entrance there? Would I have an entrance there? Yeah. So again, it's interesting. It's interesting how people do it. But yeah, there's about half a dozen different ways you could do that and retwig it. So again, I'd love the opportunity to do it. So if you want me to do a makeover on this ranch house and bring it into the 20th century or the 21st century, then leave a comment and do ask me to do it, because it would be fun to do. Okay, I think we've said enough. This is my review. These are all my personal opinions, and I'm using my years and experience to say, well, that's wrong or this wrong, and it's opinions. So maybe you love it exactly like it is. For me, I love the concept. The L wing is the L-shaped bungalow, we call it, or you call it a ranch house because of what? Because it's in Texas or California, it becomes a ranch house. There's nothing here to emphasize ranch house. It's just a bungalow, an L-shaped bungalow with the open porch. So yeah, in my view, there's loads of elements here need updating and modernizing. So I wouldn't be paying out $5,000 for a set of plans for this particular property, but that's about as much as I can tell you. So Thank you for taking the time to watch this tutorial. I do hope you got some value. If you could take a moment to leave a comment or hit the like button, I would be delighted to hear from you. See you in the next video.